I was not mad. I repeat this to myself every day, every hour, every moment. Not because I doubt it, but because the world does. They looked at me with pity, as if I were a sick man unaware of his illness. But I knew more than all of them. I did not lose my mind. I simply saw too clearly. I heard the wind before it moved. I heard clocks breathing inside the walls. I heard footsteps before they arrived. They called it hallucination. I called it awareness. To perceive too much is not a gift. It is a curse. I lived with an old man for many years. Our house was quiet, almost like a living grave. No visitors, no laughter, no noise, only long silence, broken by the sound of his heavy breathing at night. He never harmed me. He was kind, gentle, almost too gentle. He trusted me like a child trusts his father. I smiled at him, helped him, brought him food and medicine, listened to his endless stories. But his eye did not belong to this world. It was a pale blue eye, covered with a thin white film, lifeless. The gaze was not human. It was the gaze of something that watches, something that knows too much. Whenever he looked at me, I felt my thoughts being pulled out of my head as if I were an open book. I felt judged, accused, condemned without crime. I began to hate sleep because I saw it in my dreams. A single eye in the darkness, opening slowly, staring at me without blinking, without mercy. I tried to ignore it. I tried to laugh. I tried to convince myself that the problem was in my mind. But a voice inside me whispered, "If the eye disappears, the suffering will end." And so I began to observe him, not like a murderer, but like a scientist studying a strange phenomenon. Every night at midnight, I rose quietly. I walked on my toes. I opened his door with impossible slowness. I moved as if even the air could hear me. I placed only my head inside the room, not my body, like a ghost without a shadow. I opened the lantern just a tiny crack and aimed the thin beam of light directly at his face. I waited. I watched. The eye was closed. So I closed the door again, night after night, 7 times in total. Patience greater than any saint. I was proud of myself. A madman does not wait. A madman rushes, and I did not rush. On the 8th night, time broke. My hand trembled. Not from fear, but from desire. The lantern struck metal, a small sound, but in the silence it was a gunshot. The old man moved. He sat up in bed, his body shaking, and whispered, "Who's there?" At that moment, the world stopped. There was no more time, only me, him, and the darkness. I did not breathe. My heart felt like it would explode. And after endless seconds, I opened the lantern. The eye was open. Not just open, awake. It saw me, it knew me, and then I heard it. At first, it was inside me, then around me. Then it became the entire universe. Thump, 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 'tis heart. It was not a normal sound, it was judgment. It was accusation. It was a voice saying, "You are exposed." The sound grew louder, as if fear itself pumped the blood through his chest. I imagined the neighbors opening their windows, pressing their ears to the walls. I tried to stay calm. I told myself, "Be silent. You are imagining it." But the sound did not stop. It became louder than my thoughts, louder than my will. I jumped on him. I felt no body. I was only action. I pressed the pillow over his face. I felt his final breaths burn beneath my hands. His body was weak, but his heart resisted, screaming. Then, silence. Absolute silence. I placed my ear on his chest. Nothing. No heart, no sound. I laughed, not a laugh of joy, but a dry, empty laugh. I began my work. I dismembered the body calmly. I felt like a machine. I lifted the floorboards and placed everything beneath them. I cleaned the room until even time itself disappeared. I sat above the place and lit a candle. I felt a strange peace. Then the knock on the door returned me to the world. The police, they spoke of a scream. I smiled. I spoke confidently. I invited them inside. I sat directly above the corpse. And then the sound returned. Thump, thump, faint, distant. I told myself, "It's over." But the sound returned again. Closer, faster. Sweat ran down my face. Why were they smiling? Why didn't they hear it? Were they mocking me? The sound became a volcano inside my skull. I could no longer see their faces. I could no longer hear their voices. I could no longer see the world, only the heart. Thump, thump, I screamed. Enough, enough. Tear up the floor. It's there. It's his heart. And then I understood. The heart was not beneath the floor. The heart was me.